Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What is a website or an app that was legendary back in the day, but is now a complete ghost town? I StumbleUpon. There's a modern alternative. Enjoy, https://cloudhiker.net/. Hey, creator of Cloudhiker here. Thanks for sharing my site. Just got a notification that the server is being run over lol. Let me know what you think, and if you have any ideas or questions. Yahoo Answers. It was chaos, but it was our chaos. How is Babby formed? Am I pregante? Sigh, this is why I'm on AskReddit right now. I would answer so many Yahoo Answer questions. I assume that Yahoo Answers had more interesting questions than the typical, what's the most sexy sex you have sexually sexed in your sex life? Which seems to be the majority of questions in AskReddit. Photobucket. The pain of going through old forums and seeing all of the expired Photobucket links. Here's the detailed way I fixed the exact problem you're looking to solve, step by step. All dead IMG Shack and Photobucket links. Cracked was so amazing. I used to visit the site daily to read the articles and have a nice laugh before work. But many of the writers left and it was noticeable. Now it's a shell of its former self. There was a window of quite a few years where they had great writers and editors that made it the best website online. Then they stopped letting those folks do their jobs properly. Crackedgate was horrible. I'm still mad at them firing everyone good. But some of the good ones went and created the modern rogue https://www.themodernrogue.com/. I have followed them in the diaspora. Jason Pargan is an excellent novelist and his TikTok and YouTube are must-follows. Jack O'Brien runs comedy at iHeartMedia and hosts the Daily Zeitgeist. Robert Evans makes Behind the Bastards, a podcast about everything you don't know about the worst people in history. Cody Johnston and Katie Stoll run some news where a bunch of former writers contribute. Dan O'Brien writes for Last Week Tonight and Soren Bowie writes for American Dad. And both of them do a podcast called Quick Question. Scene Baby and Robert Brockway run 1900 Hot Dog, where a bunch of former cracked writers produce articles as the last comedy website. Their podcasts are the funniest things I listen to every week. Michael Swaim and Abe Epperson run the Small Beans Network, which is a super unique blend of creative endeavors including trying to put out a movie about Swaim's dad coming out as a gay furry. Series include one-upsmanship about video games, frame rate for movies, and Tales from the Pit about experiences with neurodivergence among many others. Alex Schmidt hosts Secretly Incredibly Fascinating where he and Katie Golden describe how the world is more interesting than you think. Katie also hosts Creature Feature which leans on her background in evolutionary biology to showcase interesting things about animals. Tom Raymond and David Christopher Bell run the Gamefully Unemployed podcast network where they dive into shows like Star Trek The Next Futurama or Fox Mulder is a Maniac. I was able to write this from mobile without looking anything up. Miniclip and Nitrome were my fave websites to play on for a long time. Really wish I could replay some of the older games. Look into Blue Maxima's Flashpoint. It has every Flash game you've ever played for free. You can download the ones you remember one by one, or bulk install all 200,000 they have archived so far. It's truly an internet marvel. It's amazing what they have accomplished, and more people need to be aware of the project. Its scope is massive. It has everything you need, and it's so fun to play. Nitrome has started to re-release games onto Steam. They're starting with popular ones but have said they plan to revamp lots of them. Game FAQs. Honestly, I play a lot of older games and Game FAQs is still a great resource. Right now specifically for the artifact hunt near the end of Metroid Prime. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised how many of those old forum posts are still up. It's still so useful for any older games. Newgrounds. Like probably many other millennials, I was exposed to Newgrounds at way too young an age. All of us crowded around a computer in the back of the school library, while the one older kid who knew what was up scrolled up and down the celebrity murder page and asking someone who their favorite celeb was. Nothing like playing Meet and Fuck Detective in a school library. To anyone having nostalgia for Newgrounds, they always need support, they never sold out and they try not to ever delete anything. They personally worked to maintain support for Flash players in browsers so that nothing would be lost. More specifically, they provided funding to the Ruffle project. Neopets. I remember trying to hop back on my old account during COVID out of nostalgia. Turned out, they decided to purge a ton of inactive accounts and I lost mine. So many early teenage memories on that site back when the internet still felt mysterious. MySpace. MySpace is how I learned HTML and CSS. Fun times, when tiling an image background, updating text color and embedding media players felt like I was hacking the planet. I can trace a direct line from dicking around with the styling on my MySpace page to my decade-long career as a designer in tech. Thanks, Tom. Maybe this is just my nostalgia talking, but I miss when social media was about making a sweet web page with colors, music, etc. to show your friends, instead of whatever the hell it is we have now. Man, check out my page. I changed my background and song, and moved you up on my top 8. Quote. I miss ThinkGeek. Pre-GameStop ThinkGeek was top tier. For real, I went there to check out the shirts some years ago and was all WTF is this? I have some cool ones from about 20 years ago, but you know, they all are shrank in the closet. I loved how on April Fool's Day, they would put up joke listings for fake products. And a few times, there was so much demand for the real thing that they made one. Like the Star Wars Tauntaun sleeping bag. Closing parenthesis. I have that sleeping bag. The liner has an intestines pattern, and the zipper is a lightsaber. Homestarrunner.com. BURNINATING. The peasants. ARROWED. Corn chips are no place for a mighty warrior. The first few weeks of Pokemon Go, we were never this close to worldwide peace. I remember going to a park in Bellevue and running around with literally 1,000 other people playing Pokemon Go. It was amazing. Albino black sheep. I'll add jib-jab to this. I spent a decent amount of time just waiting for new stuff to be posted. Now it's a crappy e-card sales website. Jib-jab died when they started putting everything that used to be free behind a paywall. All of it. Internet 2.0 and its social media virus destroyed the real internet. One of the reasons I like Reddit is it reminds me of an imitation of the old forums we used to have. It's sad seeing what became of the hope and wonder and diversity of the old internet. I was just about to comment this same thing. Web 2.0 is a disease and the dead internet theory is already upon us with this IBS. Social media was ruined the moment ads were allowed to overrun everything, and everything we like turned into some kind of engagement page. That and all of the consolidation. YouTube pre-Google was a treasure trove with no algorithm, and Instagram before Meta was a crazy place to find beauty in your friend's snapshot of their lives. There is no social space because we don't connect, instead we're fed ads and commercials without ever seeing our friends' posts. Club Penguin Blue Heart. There were, maybe still are, copies of it, like Club Penguin rewritten, but Disney takes them down and it's a pain to start all over. CPR got taken down because they started running ads to cover server costs. Sad face. Anyone remember Yik Yak? It got popular when I was in college and it was absolute chaos. Skull and Crossbones. I loved Yik Yak, shame they removed everything unique and fun about it. In university I was mildly successful on Yik Yak to the point where I had people quote my posts at me twice without realizing I had written it. I was so pissed when they cut service to Android users. Like, seriously. People of Walmart might still exist, but that was my quick pick-me-up page. Is FARC still a thing? Yep, and still basically the same as it was. FARC was my go-to long before I learned about Reddit. I eventually started transitioning because I preferred the way everything was presented on Reddit until it became my main source. Lately I've been hating quite a few of the decisions made by the company, so maybe it's time I just move back. I think I can suffer through early 2000s web design if the site is as good as I remember. FARC was my go-to before I found Reddit. Airborne's World. WTF mate. Fucking kangaroos. Gaia Online. I still have the account I made in 2007, but logging in just makes me sad now. There's a bit of a community still kicking in the forums, but for the most part it feels like walking into an empty mall you used to hang out in. The countless hours I spent on there basically had a second life in the forums there in my early teens. Pretty sure I still have my angelic scarf and nightmare scarf, far too much drooling over accessories when I was on it. Haha. AOL Instant Messenger. It's not a ghost town, it straight up doesn't exist anymore. But the send and receive sounds will be seared into my mind forever. ASL 14F Cali. Post Secret. That still updates every Sunday, but there aren't nearly as many visitors these days. YTMND, you're the man now dog.com. I remember leaving the safety not guaranteed page up on my computer for hours at a time until my dad got tired of hearing the same clip from Push It to the Limit and bitched at me to shut it off. This was the Og Brain Row. Am I the only person who remembers geocities.com, or am I the only one who misses it? I also remember and miss it. I hear they have an archive of all GeoCities pages. I could not search as I do not remember which neighborhood I was in. I would like to visit my old homepage, which had little fires burning at the bottom and a visitor counter. Check out Neocities. It's a network of GeoCities-like sites made and maintained by people who also miss GeoCities. Dig. The death of Dig led to me discovering Reddit. Sickteeth! Exclamation mark. There we are. Also to throw in stick suicide. There was a period around the millennium where stick flash animations were just top tier. Also Liquid Generation, although less stick related. Armor games. Flash used to be such an all-star, learned it for my degree and then it died not many years later. Oh, so many from the early, wild-ass days of the internet. But Rotten was among the most try-your-luck clicking. Note, the link is to the Wikipedia page about it. I remember someone browsing Rotten in high school. On the school computers, there are images I have not yet forgotten, and it's been more than 20 years. Rotten is the reason nothing on the internet really phases me anymore. My husband was really traumatized seeing the Charlie Kirk video. Didn't even rank in the top 1000 most fucked up things I've seen, and I was probably 10 to 14 when I was looking at that site. Truly the wild west of the internet. My friend still brings up things we saw on Rotten 20 years later. Haunting, traumatizing stuff. One that sticks in my mind was a guy who died of presumably natural causes while taking a bath. He'd rigged some kind of heating element to keep the water warm and they found him only after he'd been braising for days. It made me extremely paranoid about taking a bath if I was home alone.